Greece, synonymous with blue skies, beach holidays, salads topped with cheese, and of course, more recently, financial catastrophe.
You may not immediately think of this as a wine-producing country, but winemaking can be traced here on Santorini back 3,500 years. Today, they're not just making some very interesting wines, they're making some really innovative ones too.
And with Greece's economy in as perilous a state as it is, that can only be a good thing.
You may be wondering if I'm here to talk about a renaissance in Greek winemaking. Well, why am I out in the middle of the sea? Well, I've visited a lot of cellars in my time, but I've never before visited one by speedboat.
But before we dive headfirst into the future of Greek wine, let's pause to remember that Greece's history, both real and mythical, is pretty much drenched in it.
Then there's the gods. Dionysius, or Bacchus, as the Romans called him later, who was the god of wine, but not just of wine, also harvest, winemaking, and then religious ecstasy and ritual madness. What's not to like?
But it wasn't just the gods that drank wine. Here on Santorini, the town of Akrotiri has been unearthed from layers of volcanic ash. Wine presses and vessels dating back 3,600 years proved that Santorini was at the epicenter of the wine trade from its earliest days. Whilst the volcanoes killed everything at the time, subsequent generations have adapted to the soil. One of the wineries to do that is Argyros. I'm being shown some ancient vineyards by Stefanos Georgios.
This is basalt. This came from the volcano, 1600 BC.
1600 BC, so we know exactly that's 3,600
years.
600 years
yes.
old.
The top is basalt. We have volcanic ash and sand underneath this layer. The soil has a lot of pumice. The pumice absorbs the water and then slowly gives it back to the plant.
So there's this very gradual uptake of water through the summer when it's never raining at all.
Exactly.
Let's have a look at this. This is, even I can tell, this is an old vine, isn't it?
This is a little bit over 250 years old.
250 years old?
Yes. This is a Syrtiko.
Okay.
This is our heritage grape. We have this basket shape. We form this way so they have a lot of leaves, so they have a good protection from the sun, from the strong winds that we have all year.
That's absolutely extraordinary. What are you going to make with this?
We want to use these grapes for the Visanto.
Okay.
Greek Vinsanto is a sweet wine with a naturally high sugar content, which helped preserve it on those long sea voyages that left Santorini all those centuries ago.
Come on, can I have a try of this Vinsanto?
Oh, be happy to. Please.
Tell me some of the history about Vinsanto. This is quite an ancient wine, isn't it, from Santorini?
It's the history of Santorini. They've been making that before 12th century because the Venetians, when they arrived here, they found this wine on the island. Of course, was made a little bit differently.
This is 20 years old.
This one ages 20 years in the barrel. You're going to have the 92 vintage.
It's sweet, but it's not sticky or
No.
heavy because it's got a really pungent freshness to it as well.
Exactly. That's the beauty of the Assyrtiko. The Assyrtiko has acidity to give the beauty of this dessert wine. And it's not fortified. It's natural sweet.
It's sort of figgy pudding and Christmas cake and all those things, but with a really keen, fresh character that gives it a real lift at the end. Oh, I could drink a lot of that. When you try this, what does this wine mean to you?
A lot. It brings a lot of memories. It brings a lot of respect to all our ancestors, which they have discovered the way to vinify and to make this wine, but also the future, because the one that we're gonna make it this year, in a few weeks from now, drinking it 21, 22 years. So it's gonna be in a barrel, and if
we're blessed.
If we're blessed.
Oh, that's good.
Sitting here talking to Stefanos, I really understand what Vinsanto means to the people of Santorini. It's their past, their present, but it's also a big part of their future. And if there's one winery that's looking forward, it's Gaia on the island's eastern beaches. Yanis Paraskevopoulos is its owner. In the name of scientific research, he's aging his wine at 20 meters under the Aegean. I'm not a certified diver, and it can be a dangerous game, so I'm staying on the boat to work on my tan, safe in the knowledge that Yanis is taking this whole aging underwater experiment very seriously indeed. Aging underwater might sound like a marketing gimmick, but there is scientific method behind this madness. By aging in an environment devoid of oxygen, wine is supposed to take on drastically different flavour profiles to traditionally aged wines. I can't help but wonder if it isn't easier to keep wine in the basement or under the stairs, but I'm excited to be a Greek wine guinea pig.
I've got it. Thank you very much. Woo. Woo. It's a properly sea-encrusted bottle of wine. That is going to be very exciting to taste.
Back at the beautiful Gaia winery, Yanis is treating me to my first ever taste of a sea-aged wine. A nautical vertical tasting, the wine aged 5 years underwater compared to the same wine made last year.
It's a very different colour straight away. It's older.
Joe, let me tell you, when Assyrtiko ages in normal conditions, after 5 years, the colour is far more amber than that. By looking at it, we wouldn't have said that it's more than a year or two.
No, absolutely not. Now you've told me that this is 5 years, it's a weird experience because there are bits of it that taste older, but there are bits of it that really don't. It's got none of that nuttiness or that kind of dried fruit character that you might start to get in a wine that was this old.
That was the target. It is like a hybrid. It's something between a young, but on the same time, evolved wine.
That's absolutely right. The younger wine is more tangy. It's got a tangy zing to it. The sea-aged wine, I'm not sure what term we would use for this, the sort of sea-matured.
All right, which one of the two would you rather have on your table?
Oh, the sea-matured wine. I think it's absolutely gorgeous.
That's also my feeling, and it's a bit of an upsetting feeling because I know now that I have to flood my cellar. Our wine is called thalassitis, meaning the one that comes from the sea. These conditions, aging underwater, blocks any oxygen uptake. And that makes a big difference. You can do it in a bucket. You can do it home.
I'm going to toast that with a very ancient wine made in a very modern way.
There you go. Cheers.
Cheers. The great wine writer Hugh Johnson recently wrote of Greek wine, "Keep making it like this and I'll drink you out of your troubles." And there is something rather wonderful about watching winemakers really pushing the boundaries of winemaking and really enjoying themselves, especially here with the glittering Aegean Sea and the beautiful island of Santorini and all the myths and, you know, these hints of Atlantis. That makes it really special if you're somebody like me who doesn't want to just drink a glass of wine. You want to drink a story. So the next time you're reading about the travails of the Greek economy, do them a favour, treat yourself, buy a bottle of Greek wine, because I genuinely don't believe you'll be disappointed.